Historically, catfish have been pursued by anglers around the globe as a readily available food source.
Oh yeah, definitely a cooler cat. I'll flip this one in the Yeti. How many are we giving him?
And while many still chase smaller cats for the frying pan, more anglers are pursuing them purely for sport, practicing selective harvest to maintain trophy catfish opportunities. Similarly, there's been much growth in professional catfish tournaments, which have raised visibility for these exciting and fun fish. Recent polls reveal catfish as America's third favorite fish, right after bass and panfish. The reason for that? Found in more waters than not, catfish are accessible to a lot of anglers, and they don't require a boat to catch. In fact, catfish and shore fishing go together like moonshine in a mason jar. Catfishing is also a hook, line, and sinker affair. Just add some bait, a big part of the fun. Die-hard catfish anglers keep catfish bait recipes close to the vest, concoctions that run the gamut from stinky pastes and dips to oddball baits like hot dogs, soap, fruit, or even Preparation H. But it's hard to beat cut bait for channel cats. If there's one thing these whiskered cannibals love, it's dead stuff fished on the bottom. Strips of goldeye, sucker, carp, smelt, or skipjack herring. Underwater footage has taught us much about these sophisticated creatures and their preferred diet. Channel cats will bump, nudge, and brush up against bait before ever putting it in their mouths. With taste buds located throughout their entire body, there's nothing that swims with a better sense of taste. On today's Edge, Jeremy Smith and Dave Csanda mix old school with new school, a little low-tech with high-tech, revealing the playbook of the modern catfish angler, including how today's electronics make it easier than ever to locate fish in stained waters, and how advances in rod, reel, line, and tackle technology have evolved the simple hook, line, and sinker fishing into an even deadlier fish-catching system. As the duo demonstrates, there's probably no better way on the water to mix a little R&R and rod-bending bliss while putting countless pounds of fish in the boat.
I like that.
What a monster.
Two-handed fish grabs. Unbelievable.
Closed captioning is provided by Smooth Moves, adjustable boat seat suspensions for a smoother ride.
Need a piece of goldeye, or are you frogging it, Dave?
I'll stick with the frog for a while.
Okay.
Individually wrapped frogs for your convenience.
If you like to have a clean boat, don't go catfishing.
Well, the nice thing is, instead of bouncing around in big waves and whitecaps on a big lake trying to chase down a walleye, we're tucked down inside the riverbank here. The wind might be blowing 30, but we're not bothered at all. It's a good hiding place.
Oh, there he is. Got him. Nope, he just cracked it, Dave. You can keep that one outside one out. I think we'll see if we can double up here. This is a nice rod for fighting fish. I don't think it's one of those giant bulls, but it's not a bad one either.
Well, considering we've been fishing for
about 3 minutes. Hello, catfish. So Dave and I are enjoying a beautiful experience on a river, and that's catching big old channel cats. Look at that.
Nice one to start.
Yes, great fish to start.
That was on
what we got here. That was on goldeye.
Goldeye, all right.
On fish to start. This is a really nice tool. If you've handled any channel cats, you know they can really hurt your fingers, and this is a great way to get a hold of them here. Mr. Whiskers, huh? So Dave and I are, of course, enjoying the beautiful channel catfish this river has to offer. We're going to share with you some of the technology available today to make something as simple as what a lot of guys think is just hook, line, and sinker fishing even more productive than it usually is. I'm going to get this guy back.
It's the middle of September. This is actually a little bit of warm weather for us.
Hey, Mr. Whiskers.
It was a little bit cooler, and it dropped the water temperature down to, what do we got, 67-ish. Nice day to be out. We're active. The cats are active. It's going to be a good day.
In rivers, there's 3 general areas you're looking at: riffles, holes, and runs. The riffles are the shallow, swift current areas. The runs are generally the straight, mid-depth areas of the river, and the holes, of course, are the deeper areas. In the water we're on today, the holes are running between 8 and 10 feet deep, and the runs are more in that 4 to 6 foot depth. So far, we're finding fish in the run and hole type areas. When we're finding them in holes, they're not in the center or deepest part of the hole, but rather where the hole transitions up, both in the front and back ends of the hole. When we're finding them in the runs, they're in areas with very irregular bottom or with wood nearby. If I can. Woo, perfect. Thank you, sir. All right. Wow. That is a big one. Wow, look at that big channel, huh? That is absolutely amazing. You know, Dave, we've only been out here a little bit and we've still got some more time and got more time tomorrow to experiment, but right now we got a couple hours just get a lay of the land, see what the fish like. We've caught a couple fish in the shallow runs and now this one in a little deeper water on a piece of wood, a big one anyway, so.
Spring. It's here. And for us, that means heading outdoors. That's where you'll find us. We work, we cut, we plant, we renew, and renovate outdoors. And of course, we fish. At the end of the day, we relax outdoors. We were born in the Midwest. We are outdoors, always. Mills Fleet Farm.
Big fish don't just fall from the sky.
This segment is brought to you by Northwest Ontario. There's no place like this.
Right on.
Yep.
Circle hook again.
Yep.
3 bites on the circle this morning. Quite interesting.
He's trying to jump.
Jumping channels. And I will be your net man.
Well, it's about time you got that net wet.
Yeah, I'm happy to do so. Happy to be the net man. Wow, that's a big one, Dave. Really big fish, really big fish. The rod looks like it's fighting the fish really well too.
Yeah, it's just about right. It's got a lot of backbone to it, but it's still soft in that first section. Ooh. All right, here he comes.
Got him. And we got another one over here, Dave. You take that one. I'm going to grab this,
Okay.
this front one here. Man, this is another tank, Dave. I'm going to scoot to the back here.
It took me a while to get my first one. And you look at that, that is a beast of a fish.
That is a big, big channel. That's about as big as they get, Dave.
Yeah. That's, I think, well over 20.
Absolutely.
That's a big fish. And that's a lot of fun.
It is.
And the thing is, there's lots more in this river just like this one.
Absolutely. Let's put him in the net and then I'll reel this one in I got over here.
Okay.
So a lot of guys you see out catting use spinning rods. Some guys like to use bait casting. So what's the answer? on what to use, well, it's really whatever you're comfortable with. Bait casting equipment is standard for cats, but I'll make a case for spinning gear. First, comfort and balance. A spinning setup is better designed for holding the rod. It's like live bait fishing. It only requires one hand to hold the rod and reel, and you can feel the line at the same time. With a casting setup, you essentially need both hands because gravity pulls the reel down. Secondly, with the right spinning reel, you can have the clicker feature to hear bites when you're not holding the rod. Saltwater guys have been cued into this for a long time. It's the bait and run system from Daiwa. It allows fish to take line with the bail engaged. Simply flip the switch or turn the handle, the gears engage, and you're ready for battle. And speaking of a good system, good bait is a huge part of success. In my opinion, fresh dead bait works best. I put whole suckers in a Ziploc, keep them in a cooler, and pull them when needed. Keeping bait from getting hot and mushy is a must, so keeping it cool is key. I always throw block ice in with the loose ice to keep things cooler for longer. Keep your bait cold, and it'll hold on the hook longer, and I believe catch more fish. Man, but look at that. Talk about poundage of fish in the boat. This is a really good time. You know what? Spending the time looking at spots, using the technology that's available today can make a huge difference in how many fish come in the boat. Not only the numbers, but the size of fish like that.
That is for sure.
Cats are a good time.
This is my spot.
Right here. My thinking spot. My fishing spot.
My spot, not yours. This is where I go.
For release. And for catch and release. Where no one can find me.
And fish can't hide from me.
This is my
Spot.
and I ain't going nowhere.
Let us make this absolutely clear. The days of wasted casts and missed opportunities are over. New Mega Imaging takes fishing into the megahertz range for the first time, because higher frequency sonar means higher frequency of this. Without a doubt, it's the most detailed picture of the world below ever. And it's only from Humminbird.
It's quiet on the river this morning. Ain't nobody on the water but me. And the sun's coming on, but it won't be long. But there's a little more weight coming in this creek. I got a line with that woman of mine, and she sent me on down that way. Now I'm making noise with the alligator boys, 20 miles east of Ghost Shade. Making noise with the alligator boys, 20 miles east of Ghost Shade.
There's no place like this.
Oh, wow. Unbelievable.
The Edge is presented by these and other fine sponsors.
There's some amazing technology available today especially for river fishing. The section of river we're on right now isn't charted, but my Humminbird Onyx has a tool in it called Auto Chart Live, and it allows me to drive up and down the river and record the contour data onto a map. So you can see here as I'm driving, it's just recording data and it's laying down a map. The more times I drive over these particular spots, I'm going to collect more and more data and the map will become more and more refined. And so what Dave and I have been noticing, there's not a huge amount of depth change within the river. Say the shallow spots are 2, the deep spots are 10, but we're able to, with just looking at the color coordination, see that there's areas that are lighter orange or darker red, and we can target specific zones based on the color in the map. Red is the really shallow stuff, and this is the little bit deeper water, which this is where you would think deeper water would be on a corner bend like this. but also you'll see this red in some of the runs, so really makes it nice for quickly identifying water in places you don't know much about. And then secondly, I'm using the side imaging to identify any type of cover that might be off to the side. The visibility in this river is very limited, so finding the cover with your eyes can be quite challenging, but the sonar shows me where the cover is, and then I've got this map to show me exactly how deep it is, and it allows Dave and I then to go back and pinpoint areas that look very similar. AutoChart Live is just amazing technology.
There's another thing that you can see here on the side imaging. As we look to the right now, which is the right side of our screen, we will see some areas where it gets a little bit darker between us and the shore. And what happens is, if you look at the riverbank here, there are some gouges along the riverbank formed by the current. Some of those extend out under the water, and so we actually have some rolling bottom near the shoreline. Goes down, up, and today a lot of those cats have been up laying in that rather than out into the main channel itself. So that's, to the left side is the general deep basin of the river, and to our right side you see this shaded area like this. That's a long gouge that runs the length of the river between us and the shoreline. It's a little bit deeper there, a foot or two, and that's where the catfish have been lying. So we can see those kind of gouges. If there are ever any sand dunes where they roll this way, as you go up and down the river, you'll see high spots and low spots. And so the side imaging will show you a lot. Even though you can't see what's down in the water there with your eyes, that'll tell you exactly what's down there.
It really is amazing. Look at this. See that? Those look like they could be cats to me. Just give it a minute, huh, Dave? You okay with that?
Absolutely. Drop the anchor. Sure. Just say when.
Go for it.
Anytime.
Let's back us down. So the current speed's just enough that we can't really hold sideways in the current. So what we're doing is we're putting the bow into the current, but with a little bit of wind we've got, we don't want the boat swaying and dragging the lines around. So then off the back of the boat here, I'm dropping the talon down, and it's nicer for us to fish off the back. I've got the electronics here, we've got the cutting board here. We could just talon upstream and then fish off the bow, but still we'd have that wind that would be swaying the bow. So locking it in the bow with the anchor on the bottom, the traditional anchor, and then the shallow water anchor, the talon in the back, we're able to just lock right in place and fish these spots really efficiently. Got him, Dave. Ooh, that feels like a pretty good bull there. Oh yeah, that was cool. We saw those fish on side imaging too, Dave. That was pretty neat. Talk about technology at play. Man, these rods are just amazing for fighting these fish. St. Croix came out with this series of cat rods, the Mojo series of rods. They've got them for bass and they've been super popular, but these were designed specifically for cats. And this is the 8 two-piece model I've got right here, and you can just see the load in this rod is just perfect for fighting cats. You want that soft tip, you want backbone. I mean, these fish can really pull and roll, so you definitely want the flex in the rod, and you want that tip to detect the bites. Man, these things are just perfect for this. Just awesome rods. It's always nice to have the right tool for the job, and these are definitely the right tool for the job. Oh yeah, another one of those tanks, Dave.
It's a big one.
It is a big one.
Big head on them.
Yeah, they do have big heads, don't they? Amazing in this current. That net's pretty nice with the extendable handle for this type of deal. I'm just gonna keep walking. Oh, David, thank you, sir. Here, maybe this is a two-man job. Wow, look at this thing. Holy smokes. I mean, if you were fishing flatheads, you'd think this was a big fish. There it goes. There we go. All right. Oh, look at the size of that channel cat. What's so cool about this fish that is a true trophy is Dave and I just drove around, we mapped this area and looked with side imaging, and as we were going through there, I said, Dave, look at that. It looks like there's channel cats in one of those ditches like you were describing. And sure enough, there was. That is a great fish, man, just a great fish.
Lund builds the best fishing boats. But did you know how affordable the best can be? Take the 1625 Fury XL side console, for example. Starting prices have been slashed. A savings of nearly $3,000. Or the 1625 Fury XL Sport walk-through windshield. A savings of over $3,000. Always wanted to get into a new Lund? Visit lundboats.com for your free catalog and to find a dealer near you. And take advantage of these great savings.
When you're paid to put fish in the boat, you don't mess around with the thing that puts fish in the boat. Always use the best line.
Yeah, Lindner here for Angling Buzz.
I'm Tony Roach. Ray Rolstone.
Lee Talkin here.
Brad Durick up here on the Red River.
Muskegon River.
Leech Lake.
Doubles Lake.
Beautiful Lake Vermilion.
Black.
Topwater's been really fun.
Go to the plastics.
Bass like this.
A lot of wallies like that.
Giant bluegills.
From Sturgeon Bay.
Lake Skakawea. Lake Winnie region.
Northern Wisconsin. Good luck, everybody.
Have fun.
Check us out on the web.
Current up-to-date fishing info from the best anglers in the Midwest. Learn from the pros at anglingbuzz.com.
Can't get enough Angling Edge? Wish you could learn more than you saw on TV? You can. Angling Edge DVDs dive deep into fish catching techniques that couldn't fit on air. It's like extra innings or overtime of Angling Edge. Choose from dozens of titles featuring your favorite freshwater fish. Purchase 5 DVDs at the incredible low price of $25. That's 5 DVDs for just $25. Purchase 2 sets and get free shipping too. Visit anglingedge.com to place your order. The Edge is presented by these and other fine sponsors.
Catfishing is basically hook, line, and sinker. Very seldom does it get more involved than that. Although, as always, you can fine-tune your components. You need a nice range of things that will cover your whole gamut of conditions you'll face, starting with these flat river sinkers. Thread your line through, put a bead on the back, and then put your leader on here. These will lay on the bottom and they won't get swept away and they won't roll in the current, so keep your bait right where you're positioned. We have a whole array of different hook sizes here. These are all the classic J style or octopus hook as a VMC example. They're running up to about 6/0 in size, which sounds like a really big hook, but we're into some really big fish today. Here's our tournament circle hook, which is the hook that works so well for skill fishing when you just have your rod in the holder and you wait for the fish to pull on the line, and basically they will hook themselves. We've got some nice barrel swivels in here. We're tying up our leaders, a few spin and glow floats for a little extra added attraction and visibility, some spinner rigs. Clevis spins on the line, gives you some flash and vibration. And here's our last but not least, here's the model line that we're using, Suffolk Siege in 25-pound test, neon tangerines. Ooh, there he is, Jer. Oh, yes.
Oh, you got him.
There
Stuck
you
him. That looks like a good one. Real nice fish here.
He's cutting across the lines. He's cutting across.
I'll get this other line. I'll clear this one right here.
Okay, all right. We're clear. We're clear. I'll tell you, this is a real war here. If you like being sporty, these rods also come in the spinning version. And you can't quite crank down and power a catfish with a spinning rod like you do with the casting gear, but this is a lot of fun.
It's fun. You can still put a lot of power on them.
Oh, yeah.
That rod's got a ton of
yeah,
power.
yeah.
But it's a fun experience.
You betcha. This will be one of the bigger fish you catch all year on the spinning rod.
No doubt.
I can guarantee you that if you try this catfishing.
Oh, that's
Whoa,
a big
look at that
bullhead
big
there. That's a big bullhead. Wow. Nicely done, sir. Nicely done.
It's a two-hand.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at the beef.
Another
That's a big beefy
giganto.
fish. What a big beefy critter, huh?
That's a big one. Let me grab the tail of that one, Dave, just to help you out, huh? How do you like that?
What a monster.
Two-handed fish grabs. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, this is such a special place, and it's such a fun thing to do. It's relaxing. It doesn't require a tremendous amount of tackle, just a few simple things and a little bit of know-how on how the river's laid out, and
You know,
Next thing
and
you
compared to the way you run around when you're musky fishing or you're walleye fishing, you're just going like mad moving. This is nice, easy, slow paced. You know, you get your rest and your relaxation in between fighting big giants like these.
You know, I subscribe to a lot of magazines, but one of my favorite reads every month is the American Legion. Now, I'm a Vietnam vet, so I look through this every month and I always find something interesting to me. Some of the things that I like on the title of the magazine for a Strong America, for God and Country since 1919. This particular issue had the headline, Religious Liberty, and it really caught my attention. I want to read you a couple of series of quotes that were really, I thought, somewhat appropriate for the world we're living in today. Title of the article, Not to be Trusted. Nations that stifle religious freedom aren't friends of the United States. Religious liberty is the proverbial canary in the coal mine of a society's health. It doesn't tell us everything about a government or a group, but it tells us enough. 11 months before the attack on Pearl Harbor, President Franklin D. Roosevelt shared his vision of a world founded upon 4 essential human freedoms: freedom of speech, freedom from fear, freedom from want, and freedom of every person to worship God in his own way everywhere in the world. Let me continue to give a few other quotes that I found interesting. University of Texas professor William Bowden notes that every major war the United States has fought over the past 70 years has been against an enemy that also severely violated religious freedom. He sees a clear correlation between religious persecution and national security threats. Indeed, today's worst violators of religious liberty represent the most serious threat to U.S. interests. Just one or two more reads. Oh, here. Washington needed to be on alert when interceding with enemies of faith freedom. Even on those occasions when they share America's interests, they never share America's values. One more. The White House should shame regimes that can be shamed, isolate the shameless, help willing governments back on a pathway to respecting human rights, and provide a platform for persecuted people. When I read this, it sure speaks volumes to me about the things that are happening in the world around us today. Look at the news any night or look at the headlines in your paper. I just had to share this with you. Hey, from all of us here at The Edge, have a good, safe fishing season. We'll see you on the water.
Hey, I want to take a moment to thank you for watching. And if you really like what you see, we got a whole lot more. So check us out at any one of these online outlets. You know, in fishing, there are good days and there are great days. Time is just a wink from the Almighty. We plan, target, rig, and play the game like everyone else.